Friday. So great to see you, Christy and Alonzo, in the wilds of Riverside. That is the recording platform and not the town in the Inland Empire. We had a little confusion with a gentleman who wanted to do a table from one with us. And I said we do it on Riverside, this recording platform. And he thought we wanted him to travel to Riverside.
Oh, that's funny.
And I felt kind of bad. I'm like, oh, no, we would never ask anybody to travel to Riverside to come hang out with us.
On general principle,
Right. There's a really cool old historic place in Riverside.
I'm sure it's beautiful and yes.
It is. So nice to see you guys. So glad to have so many folks already here waiting. Thank you so much. Please let us know when you get a second what our levels sound like. We were just commiserating about how gremlins come in the middle of the night and mess with our podcast equipment, it seems, because we won't touch the board at all.
Yeah, nope.
And then it will be different the next day. So if you could just let us know how we sound. It's wonderful to have you all here. Sarah Reisner says, first timer here. My name is Sarah. I'm a Spaniard living in Austin for the past 20 years. Oh. You guys have brought lots of joy in some difficult times. So thank you. Sarah, thank you for being here. Muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. Alonzo is Spanish. And so we're happy that we were helpful. And thanks for taking time to hang out with us. Lewis Cook, my good friend Lewis Cook, thank you so much for your kind donation. Lewis Cook, our channel member, who was my only friend during our first vertical live stream. I will never forget you for that. Lewis says, hello, Christy and Alonzo. On my way to see The Substance and Whiplash. Whoa. You're going to need a nap after that. Yeah. So I wanted to drop by and ask you both, what's the best double feature you've ever seen? I know you have an answer to this, Alonzo.
Yeah, somebody asked me this recently. When the summer between my junior and senior year of college, I did of high school, I did a college summer program, and we were very near a rep theater that would change the double feature every day. And this girl down the hall from me said, please come with me to this movie. Nobody wants to go with me. I'll buy your ticket. I really want to see this. And it was a double feature of Freaks and Eraserhead. And after seeing Eraserhead, Freaks was like the Sound of Music, so but I'm glad she dragged me, because I probably wouldn't have gone on my own at that age.
Yeah. Oh, hi. Bev says bonsoir from rainy Paris. Surprising news in Paris that the Centre National de la Cinématographie selected Emilia Perez as France's Oscar submission.
I heard about that. That's very cool.
Over Le Comte de Monte Cristo, which is really interesting. So maybe they're going for star power, buzz. I don't know.
I mean, the international reviews, I think, have been pretty good coming out of festivals. So, not surprised.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it. Our friend Lacusto says, happy Friday. Ohtani just went 50-50 this season, Christy. Yes, last night, big historic news. Shohei Ohtani, first person ever to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases.
Cool.
Yes. Ricky Henderson couldn't do that. He stole a ton of bases, but he didn't have that many home runs. We're baseball season here.
Christy, what's your favorite double feature?
Oh, gosh. I don't have an answer for that. Yours was great, and I'm going to let you answer that. Hi, everyone. Hi, Kate. Hi, Todd. Hi, Teddy. Thanks. Good to know that the levels are good. Okay, we've got a lot of news, but first of all, I want to just once again mention how psyched we are about this event we're doing at the Frida. Yeah. Some of you guys may have heard about this already. We're going to show The Fog at the Frida Cinema on Sunday, October 27th at 2 p.m. Pacific. The link to tickets is down below in the description here in our live stream. I'm so psyched about this because we've wanted to do an in-person event for a long time, and we love the Frida. They do such incredible art house programming and repertory programming, so we're psyched to partner with them on this. So come and hang out with us.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, come see me Thursday, the 26th, coming up this week to see The Last of Sheila at the Angelica in Dallas, and I'll be signing and selling copies of Hollywood Pride.
Cool. Get out to Dallas. Get out to the 214 area code.
That's
always
right.
Lovely. With the leaves are turning this time of year. There's a season in Dallas.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess they do actually have autumn there, don't they? Yeah.
Fall.
It's been a while.
Fall. Todd, hi, Todd. Thank you for the t-shirts. Todd says, how do you get a one-on-one interview? Table for One. There's a link to Table for One. You can email us about details below. They're so much fun. We're going to do one later today with a gentleman. He wanted to review The Straight Story with us. David Lynch's The Straight Story. So we rewatched that. We're going to see him later on today for that. So we love doing them. They are a blast. Okay, so much news to talk about, some of which is good, some of which is not. Jennifer Lee, who was the head of Disney Animation for a while, who, leaped to greatness from the first Frozen, is now stepping down from that job to direct and helm and shepherd Frozen 3 and 4.
Pixar has such a weird history with women and not hiring them and then hiring them, and the John Lasseter stuff. And I don't know. On the one hand, bummer that she's no longer going to be an exec, but on the other hand, I mean, doing Frozen 3 and 4 is nothing to sneeze at either, I suppose. So,
I mean, clearly it's important to her, right? Like it's personal. It's a story that she really wants to tell. But the person who's replacing her is a dude. It's Jared Bush, who directed Zootopia and Encanto. He is directing and writing Zootopia 2, which comes out next year. So
it is kind of a bummer that the Disney Pixar looks like they're going to be super leaning into sequels now. Although with Inside Out 2 becoming the highest grossing animated feature of all time, you can't really blame them.
Yeah.
But again, I think there was that notion that like, oh, Elemental flopped, but it actually wound up doing okay in the long run. It just didn't have a giant opening weekend. And, I still think movies like Turning Red and Luca were really great, and they just unfortunately came out during the pandemic, and so that kind of messed everything up for them.
Yeah, and Soul. Right,
and
was Soul around that time as well, and Turning Red was great. But I think didn't Turning Red eventually get a theatrical release?
It might have. I know a bunch of those movies got like a week. Like I think Luca came back to the El Capitan for a week or something, and I really wanted to see it on the big screen. They didn't get to, unfortunately, but we carry on, I guess.
Yeah, so that is happening. Okay, we have to talk about Diddy. I don't really want to, but I don't want to get into the gross, gory details of this. But the indictment has been out there in the world. He is currently being held in this notorious jail in Brooklyn. The jail where he's being held, the federal jail where he's being held. He's been denied $50 million bail in this racketeering and sex trafficking case. Do you know about this place where he's being held, Alonzo? Are you aware of what this place
I don't.
Like?
Tell me.
It's where Epstein was and Ghislaine, and it is notoriously horrible. It's overpopulated and literally rat infested, and that is where he's being held. I did not want to read the details of the indictment. I just don't need all the information in my brain. It is out there. I have read articles that summarize what it is as far as these freak-offs and women and male prostitutes and photographing them doing things against, they didn't even know a lot of the time. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. Did you read any of this?
No, life's too short. I've been seeing headlines that basically talked about how he really sort of abused his position of power for a long time to get away with stuff, that this is not something that just happened. It's been going on for a long time, but the people have been pressured into staying silent about it. So it all seems pretty icky, but obviously there will be trials and whatnot, and we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people involved in this as far as orchestrating flights and hotel rooms and silencing people and procuring people. And it's bad. And it went on for a long time. And, they're alleging that the record label protected him, everyone protected him. The industry in general protected him because he was powerful for a long, long time. And so now that's all coming out. So that is happening. And then also MrBeast and Amazon have been sued for an allegedly unsafe work environment on this Beast Games reality competition series. If you are on YouTube in any capacity, you know who MrBeast is. He's huge and is known for these videos where he's like, I put 100 people in this circle and told them that they couldn't leave. And the one who stayed the longest gets all this money. So he's done that for a long time on his channel. He actually supposedly cured blindness. He paid for a lot of people who couldn't see to have procedures to be able to regain their sight. But he had this reality competition with Amazon, and apparently it's a lot of really toxic bro culture that has been alleged in the production, and not feeding people and unsafe physically, but also sexual harassment kind of stuff going on. So
I, speaking as an outside observer to this stuff, like it seems to me that there's a lot of these people who get famous online, and then at some point either they get involved with some big company like Amazon, or they reach a certain level where then suddenly the vetting starts and people start actually sort of noticing. Like I'm thinking back at like the Logan Paul of it all. Like I think there's just at some point, what goes from a little, DIY, thing blossoms into big business. And at some point when it becomes big business, then people start noticing, your business practices, I guess.
Yeah. That's a good point. Right. Like in your small little enclosed system within YouTube, you can do things how you want to do them.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, but he was very, very influential on YouTube for a long time in terms of like how he did his thumbnails and his titles and the kinds of videos that he put out and the way that he cut them and like the pacing of them. And everyone was trying to copy that to try to tap into that same kind of energy and that same kind of viewership. Not me. Like if you see our videos, clearly I am not trying to emulate MrBeast in any way. We are doing things
blah, 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 blah.
We're doing things our way here. But I can see how like there's someone who figured it out. Let's copy that. So he's very influential.
I'll tell you, like I joined LinkedIn years ago and can't ever seem to get rid of it. And I get these emails of like, oh, here's a position you should consider. And it's always something ridiculous. And one of the ones this week was like a Greek language interpreter for MrBeast. Like they were still hiring one this week. I'm like, all right, well, like, I don't know if that's an old listing or it's still a company. I don't know.
Wow. Interesting. Ed Looney says, when Breakfast All Day goes corporate, we know y'all will be ethical. Of course. That's been the goal from day one, is to go corporate.
Yes.
Daryl says, hey, from Kentucky, I love y'all's movie reviews. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We're happy to have you here. So that is some news that's there. Also, more bad behavior. Have you guys seen the video of Perry Ferrell and Dave Navarro on stage? We talked about this a little bit during our little quickie coffee live stream on Saturday, but Jane's Addiction has now canceled the rest of their tour because of this.
Oh boy. So, I think now they are the Eagles of Gen X.
Is that it?
I don't know. I just think there are certain bands where, okay, I'm obsessed with this 90s group called Jellyfish. And it's two main guys involved in it. And they have not spoken now for decades. And apparently until somebody magically brokers peace between them, they're just that band is never getting back together or doing anything. And I think there are some bands that should either like know when to quit or understand that their continued financial success involves at least tolerating one another. So yeah, I don't think starting a fight in the middle of a show and then canceling your tour is a way to sort of like grasp what the Jane's Addiction phenomenon is going to be in your life if you want to keep that phenomenon in your life,
Yeah, it's too bad. I can't recall whether it was you or Chris who sent me this tweet, but it's something like Dave Grohl is canceled and Jane's Addiction is fighting and Linkin Park's a whole bunch of Scientologists now, but like Oasis is functional and getting along. Like what is happening here?
Welcome to crazy backward land.
It's very strange. Yeah. Todd says Jellyfish are fantastic. So you have another Jellyfish fan out there. There you go.
Yes.
And Andrea says your videos are better. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks.
I appreciate that. Lacusta says real quick, it's Friday. It's Friday after next, a Christmas flick, Alonzo.
It is. Not a big fan of it, but it is one, yes.
Nico's Vault says, I want an onstage fight between Johnny Marr and Morrissey. Not these fools. Like, just get them on stage at the first place. That would be really hard, I think.
That's the thing. They know better. They're not even going to get to that stage of it, literally.
It is not going to happen. Speaking of Hallmark, though, and Christmas, Alonzo, you spent a great deal of time yesterday with this very exciting... What is it that they announced yesterday? Please tell us.
Okay, yesterday they dropped the 47 titles of the Countdown to Christmas. So that's basically all the movies that are going to start airing in mid-October on the Hallmark Channel, on Hallmark Mystery, and on the new Hallmark Plus streaming service. All of the new holiday titles. That's part of the 24/7 Christmas that will be happening on Hallmark and Hallmark Mystery starting October 18th and running all the way through to the end of the year. So yeah, it's a big deal when they release all the schedule and who's in these movies and what they're about and yada yada. I did a whole live yesterday with the Deck the Hallmark guys where we just did our first look reaction and response to stuff. So yeah, a big moment if this is a thing you follow.
What is a title or two that you are excited about?
Well, let's see. A couple years ago, they had a really big hit with Three Wise Men and a Baby, which was the first time that they had like three big Hallmark stars, Tyler Hines, Andrew Walker, and Paul Campbell, all in one movie together. And it was such a hit that now this year we're getting Three Wiser Men and a Little Boy, I think is the sequel. And Margaret Collin, who's in Three Men and a Baby, plays their mom, so that's a nice little bit of a connective tissue there. I haven't really quite learned the titles yet. I'm more excited about certain actor pairings as somebody who watches a lot of these movies, so the fact that Andrew Walker and Ashley Williams are doing a movie together, or Nikki DeLoach and Warren Christie. Like, again, these are names that if you watch Hallmark movies, you know who they are, and if you don't, you think I'm making them up. So it's a very insular world. What can I tell you?
Is there like a Mad Libs kind of structure to either the titles or like the log line where it's like place and like Christmas pun and
the titles? Yes, there's definitely a pretty small basket of where all those come from. The plots have gotten a little bit more diverse of late. It used to be, the business lady goes to the small town, blah blah blah. Like they're really trying to mix that up. There's a few this year that aren't even like necessarily couple centric. Like there's a Sabrina the Teenage Witch reunion between Caroline Rhea and Beth Broderick as like moms who don't get along with each other but whose kids are dating, and there's a whole when yentas collide thing going on there. Okay. So they're trying to mix it up. I will say that on the diversity front, they're kind of taking a step back this year. We have 2 movies with interracial leads, but no movies where both leads are actors of color. And there's no movies on the network with any kind of queer major storyline. Like there's a sequel to Christmas on Cherry Lane from last year that's going to be on Hallmark Plus, where Jonathan Bennett from Mean Girls and Shannon Cook from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend play a gay couple who are adoptive dads. But on Hallmark, on the linear cable channels themselves, none of that, which is annoying because they've actually been making some advances in that direction in recent years. But, here we are.
Some strides. Yes.
Exactly.
I want to answer a couple quick things. Sarah asks, wondering if you're planning on watching and or reviewing His Three Daughters. Yes. Right after we're done chatting with all you lovely folks here, we're going to have a review of His Three Daughters. It's been out theatrically for like a week, but it's now on Netflix today. So go look for that. And Bev mentions, indeed, I have seen this too, that with the Jane's Addiction story, it's not about arguing, but Perry Ferrell is having some mental health issues. And so that's part of what is going on there. So thank you for mentioning that, Bev. Okay, so we'll keep an eye out for all that Christmassy goodness. Oh, Mark says, not very current, but wanted to shout out Alonzo's impression of Sissy Spacek in the bedroom is everything. It brings joy. You do a Sissy Spacek in the bedroom impression? That's very specific.
It's a running joke in our house where whenever Dave and I are saying that, like, we need everything or we're annoyed about everything, we say, everything.
Okay. I get it. Okay, so that is all happening. And then things that are not happening are Time Bandits season 2. I'm so bummed about this because they end that series, the first season, the only season, on a cliffhanger, suggesting that more could come. It could also just be like, hopeful that more would come, and you have to just fill in the blanks on what you think happens. But I don't know. It felt really specific as far as where that story is supposed to go from that final shot. So it's a bummer.
Yeah, we recapped it for our Patreon page and really enjoyed it. You know, boy, nothing tells you what shows your friends hate more than like posting on Facebook that a show you like got canceled.
Oh, who didn't like Time Bandits?
Oh, a bunch of people, and they were very quick to tell me, "Oh, well, that show," blah, blah, blah. Or they didn't even watch it. They're like, "Oh, it looked stupid." I'm like, "Well, then I guess you would know best."
Right, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. We watched it and we really loved it. So you know. Anyway, bummer.
It is too bad. Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed Lisa Kudrow in that role, and it just kept surprising me. It has that central nugget of an idea of the movie Time Bandits, but it expands on it in really clever ways, and so
fun ensemble in general. I thought
it was, yeah. So we learned that there'll be no season 2, and then Daniel's got. Oh, I'm sorry. Gage has a question. Have either of you guys seen Woman of the Hour yet? I've heard great things. No.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. Let us know what that is.
Yeah.
And then a couple of deaths I want to mention because we're a lot of fun around here. J.D. Souther, singer-songwriter.
Speaking of the Eagles, yes.
Right. He wrote a lot of Eagles songs and was a singer as well. He had a lovely duet with James Taylor called Her Town 2 from the early 80s.
Yes.
So he wrote a ton of Eagles songs. And so he died at 78. I don't think we know how he died. And then Tito Jackson.
Yes.
Of the Jacksons. Died at age 70 of a heart attack.
Yeah, that ain't old. You know, I used to think 70 was old. Now I don't.
Interesting. Yeah. So that all happened.
One of the founding members of the Jackson 5.
Indeed. So we are going to wrap because we've got a couple things to do. And then my son's got a big cross-country meet later on, and we're just juggling. Yeah. Life happens outside of our little squares. But we're thrilled that you're here. We're always delighted to have you guys spend time with us on a Friday. We're going to be kind of in and out in the next few weeks because Alonzo is in Dallas next week. So we're not going to have news next Friday. And then a few Fridays from now, SMU is playing Stanford. So I'm going to go up to Stanford for that. Now that we're in the ACC, we play different schools. And so they're playing Stanford. I've never been to Stanford, and I hear it's beautiful.
Fun.
I hear it's a gorgeous campus and a gorgeous football stadium. So we're going to go up to that. So
and when Countdown to Christmas kicks off in October, I will be going back to Greenville. We're doing a whole thing where the regular hosts of Deck the Hallmark and all 4 of us who are sort of the rotating co-hosts are going to be in a house together, real world style, and we're going to watch the first like 24 hours or so of Hallmark movies that weekend. And it'll be live on YouTube. So more on that as it gets closer.
When in October is that?
It's October 18th and 19th.
Oh, so the same weekend that I'm gone anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, perfect.
Perfect timing.
Boom.
Thanks to all of you. Oh, someone has a question. Oh, Thomas, have you watched Lord of the Rings trilogy back to back? No.
Nope. I stopped after the first movie. I've never seen the second and third ones, and I probably never will.
Right. I think, I know there's like a show. We're not Lord of the Rings aficionados around here. I'm sorry, but enjoy yourselves. Thanks for being here, and keep an eye out for the podcast will be out later on today and all kinds of goodies on our Patreon. And we're just thrilled that you're here. So thank you for taking the time. We never take it for granted. We know that you're busy. So thanks for hanging out with us for part of your day. We'll see you
guys in
a couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye.